Hey, what's up everyone, this is 13 and I'm coming at you with the long-awaited building tutorial. Why do I make this video? Well, I've seen some outrageously terribly built bases, like with people hoarding ammunition in one spot of the base. I've seen bases being built without a single bunker structure. I've seen just some overall terrible shit, and there's some of you out there that build like...
They sucked his brains out.
So I really don't want to offend anyone, and I'm definitely not going to be building the best possible perfect base every time, but man, oh man, I have seen some things, dude. Alright, so first of all, I want to make you aware of that right here in the game there already is a building tutorial. However, this is very basic. I still would advise you to take a look at it and play it for a bit, because you can try out a lot of things in a relatively safe space. So first of all, this is the first thing that you're gonna build. This is the HQ. The HQ, as I said already in my ARC video, is indestructible. You don't need to secure this. However, sometimes this HQ will be kind of like outside of where your actual base is going to be, just because the arc is going to drop further away and you're going to build around the arc, and then you leave this kind of like by itself outside of a protected wall or anything. If that happens, you can place walls around it just to make it easier to not spawn into the mouth of the arachnids right away when you respawn, because this is also a respawn. Alright. So before you even start building anything, you need to make yourself aware of a few things. The first thing is obviously, where is the arc going to drop? Alright, for the sake of this video, since in this tutorial there is no arc, I have placed this light post as a placeholder. So let's imagine this is the arc. Second thing that you need to figure out is, are there any things on the map that are indestructible, or is there like a path on the map where the enemies are very unlikely to attack from? For example, this here is a huge wall. The arachnids would probably not spawn over here, so you should not focus a lot of resources on this sector. You have that in a lot of maps in Starship Troopers Extermination, so you don't really need to secure them, but you can save a little bit of ore. The third mistake that I see a lot of people do is they will look at this entire grid where they can build, and they will run to the furthest edge and start building walls. But you should ask yourself, do I really need to build out all of this? Because a lot of times you really don't. There's no task or anything that tells you build your base on the entire grid. A small fraction of this is much easier to defend and less expensive, doesn't take that much ore. Alright, so since this is our arc, the first thing that we want to do is we want to make it safe, right? Because if the arc dies, the mission has failed. So what I see a lot of people do is they place 4 doors around the arc, which doesn't make a ton of sense. Why, you might ask yourself? Well, obviously you're gonna have to have access to the arc, but placing 4 doors, first of all, is more expensive than placing just a simple wall. And second of all, doors will draw aggro from the bugs. So if a bug sees a door, they will attack the door. Also, another negative is doors are not as sturdy as walls. Walls will take more damage before they collapse. So what you usually want to do is you want to place 1, 2, 3 walls and then 1 door. You technically would not even need the door, because you can just jump over here and get to the arc. Even, I'm going to show you this with one of those canisters. By the way, you can also throw these, just in case you don't know. So you could also just jump up here, even with the canister, drop down here, deposit it, and then you can mantle up the arc and get out of there. So you technically would not even need the door. However, it's just convenient. Alright, what's the next thing you should do? At the beginning, you're not going to have a lot of ore to spend. Well, that obviously is only when you're playing the arc game mode. When you're playing AAS, you're going to have almost unlimited resources. Alright, so there are now a few options. I hear a lot of people arguing when somebody right at the beginning is going to build a bunker. First of all, yes, a bunker is relatively expensive, 1,500 ore that it takes to build it. However, a bunker is the strongest structure that you can build. They can tank a lot of damage. It's incredible, actually. Another good thing about the bunkers is that you can climb on top of it, and then you have a pretty damn good oversight of what's going on. When you're standing inside of the wall, you always have these little ledges here, and you can't really shoot down properly. You're gonna have to move a little bit. You might have to jump on top of the wall to shoot properly down. With the bunker, all of that is not really any issue. Also, if you're gonna place a turret here, this is also going to be a little bit messed up, because now you have the issue with not being able to aim down properly. Another good thing about bunkers is that you can easily just jump up here, climb, and you're on top of the bunker. And of course, you can also do this with a ore canister in your hand, just like I showed you with the wall. However, one little downside for the bunkers is that because of the way they are shaped, like two little stairs, when bug corpses start piling up around here, it happens relatively fast that these pile up to such a big pile that they can just walk up the bunker. So yeah, of course, these bunkers are not perfect. They also need you to protect the structure, but that also goes for walls. Walls only have this ledge here, so the pile of bugs that would have to pile up there would have to be a little bit higher. So now the question, should you at the beginning of the match right away build a bunker? I personally think there's really nothing wrong with that. And the funny thing is, the most people that I heard arguing about, they will go on their mission to collect the ore, but they will leave the base, so there's nobody left in the base. If there's absolutely nobody, or maybe just a single trooper left in the base, first of all, let them decide what they want to build, and second of all, this one person, they will have it so much easier to defend this instead of trying to repair a wall, shoot bugs, repair, shoot bugs, repair. That's just gonna be incredibly stressful. So stop being a fucking hypocrite. Alright, if you want to, however, save a little bit of ore and you want to have a relatively well-protected area, you can, of course, build walls, but then you need to have personnel to defend the base so that the bugs are not just gonna overrun this, right? And afterwards, when you have gathered enough ore, then you can still unbuild it, build bunkers instead, and then you're good to go. No problem. Alright, next mistake that I see a lot of people do is people are going to place these gigantic gates. Either these giant gates, or they will build an outside wall and then they will build a small gate. So just kind of like this. So first of all, I am not a big fan of gates or doors because, well, I told you already, gates and doors will draw aggro from the bugs. You can obviously use this to your advantage, but however, gates and doors will not take as much damage as walls. Walls are much more sturdy, they will hold much better, and technically, as I told you already, you don't need a door to enter your base. You can just mantle up here, boom, and you're in the base. It's really that easy. Obviously, and it is something that I see a lot of people do, is they will build this huge gate and then it will open the gate, it will let a few bugs in, kill the bugs and close the gate again. That can work, and again, you can get away with a lot of stuff on easy or normal, but when you start playing on hard, you will not get away with shit like that, especially if there are a few mutators that make the bugs either even more or spawn a lot of tigers. This is a death sentence. Another strategy to give the Ark protection is to place 4 bunkers around the Ark. That obviously is going to take a lot of ore, but I've seen this many times where people would just build 4 bunkers right around the Ark to give it enough protection from the bugs. That is definitely a viable strategy, however, it is very expensive. Alright, another thing that I see a lot of people do is they will immediately, as soon as they can build, they will build these ammo crates, and they will build all 4 of them in one spot of the base. So that is not necessarily horrible, but it also is not really good. Now I want you to switch on your imagination mode and imagine you're defending this. There are a lot of bugs. You shoot a lot of bugs, you run out of ammo, you turn around, there's no fucking ammo here. So where's the ammo? First of all, in all of this chaos, you have to locate it. Okay, there's the ammo. I'm running down there, grabbing ammo, reloading, jumping back up here, climb up here, and get back in the fight. That is not necessarily terrible, but now switch on your imagination again. You're shooting bugs, a lot of bugs, you run out of ammo, you turn around, get ammo, reload, and you're back in the fight immediately. You can place 4 of these ammo boxes in total. So why not place either one in each corner or one on each side on top of the walls? Maybe that is the German in me that wants to make everything super efficient, but yeah, I just see a lot of people piling up ammo crates in one spot of the base. That's just not really a good thing. So the next thing that I see a lot of people do is, instead of building just normal walls like these, I see a lot of people, maybe out of convenience, they will only build these. It's either only the ones with the stairs, or they're only going to build the ones that are just walls. Okay, so obviously if you only build these walls, you can't really get up there. Like how are you going to get up there? If you don't have a quick and easy way somewhere to get up to this wall, like how are you going to defend it? It's not possible. That's why you need those. However, you can only build 15 of those. And yeah, I've literally been in games where people would only build these walls with stairs and we would run out of them. So you would have one side of the base that looked like this, and the other side of the base would just be normal walls, and nobody could get out there. Just be smart about it. Place one of those, then place one of those, place one of the normal wall again, and again, and again, and again. It's really not that hard. Come on, guys. I mean, obviously, this building menu is not the best, and it's probably on consoles is probably even worse. But if you're so not used to it or lazy, then just don't build. Let the engineers do their job. All right, so in case you have enough resources and you can actually build a bigger base than this, you can obviously place a few more walls. You can have double layers or even 3 layers or as many layers as you want. Also, another thing that I want to point out is if you build walls like this and you want to have a second layer, you don't have to place it like this. You can place walls just like this, because these walls would face the other direction and you would have to get quickly over there because this maybe is flooded with bugs and maybe it's your only way to get over there. If this was not there, you would have to, well, jump down and probably get eaten alive. Now a few more tips. So you can obviously build turrets here, and I would build them right at the edge so that you can basically shoot all the way over to this bunker and in the complete opposite direction all the way over to this bunker. You can almost aim completely down. So yeah, placing a turret on top of the bunker, and especially right at the edge, in my opinion, is a very good thing to do. And again, for all you new guys, don't forget to place ammo for the turret. You can place them on top of the bunkers, you can place them on top of the walls. There's no reason to place them down here somewhere where the person that reloads the turret would have to go down, grab this, find a way up, get all the way to the turret just to reload it. It doesn't make any sense. You could obviously also, if you have enough ore left, build these auto turrets. And a quick little tip from me is don't build them on the edges of the walls. I'm going to place it here. It can potentially be damaged by bugs and then it stops working. Also, it doesn't matter in which direction this thing faces because they're turning 360 degrees. So what you want to do instead is you can place them right in the middle of the bunker. They might not going to be able to shoot all the way down here, but hey, I mean, you want to play the game too, right? You want to have something to do, right? You want to shoot some bugs down there. Another quick thing that I want to point out is when you build one of those fancy towers, you can obviously build a turret up here. That's a very good thing to do, but however, you see already, like, I can't really shoot all the way down there. I can only cover like this tiny little space here, really not a lot. What you can do, however, the game sometimes lets you place a turret right on this thing, and yeah, you can still use it. It looks a bit weird, and be aware that in whatever direction you place this, this is where you're always going to exit it. It's a bit finicky, but it works.
All of this just works. It's not, I'm not kidding.
So placing it like this, and then when you exit it, you will not fall out immediately. Like when you're shooting maybe in the inside of the base and you get out, you're standing right in the direction where you pointed it. Unfortunately, you cannot place ammo here. Alright, another thing that I want to point out is if you're dealing with a lot of bugs and you maybe don't have a lot of demolition guys and the bugs keep piling up very high, you can also build those little walls on top of the bunker, and that will give you a little bit of extra protection from the bugs and will prevent, for example, tigers to just climb over here and fuck up the inside of the base. It's not much, but it's honest work. Well, at least it is something. So that's great protection from gunner bugs. You can also place these somewhere on the outside of the map because bugs will get stuck on them, and then you can pick them off relatively easily from the safety of your base. Keep in mind that every base that you build is nothing when nobody is in that base to protect it, right? All these bunkers, all these walls, will not hold jack shit if nobody is defending them. And I mean real people, not just an auto turret. Alright, that's it from me. Leave a like, consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the battlefield, Trooper.